Okay, today we're talking about something that holds a lot of people back from the success and the fulfillment that they're wanting, and that is the belief that the answers to their lives and the answers to their problems are somewhere outside of themselves. Basically, that the right expert or the right strategy or the right moment will finally tell them what they're meant to do. But what if the truth is that the answers have been inside of you the entire time and you've been taught not to trust them? Today's conversation is basically about reconnecting with that inner guidance and using it to create a life that impacts you and that is feels aligned with where and who you really want to be. Laura is my guest today, Laura Clark. And Laura, you describe yourself as a purpose and vision alchemist. And you are also the founder of the Wise Living Institute. So, for those who are hearing about your work for the first time, what led you from years as an advanced bodywork practitioner into helping people basically awaken their purpose and access their intuition?
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. You know, as a body worker, a massage therapist who used a lot of modalities in her work, I would have a lot of people come in and say, "Oh gosh, that felt really great. That I feel really wonderful." And they'd leave and they'd come back 2 days later or a week later, and I'd say, "How you doing?" "Oh, about the same." Nothing ever kind of landed with them. And I kept going into this a little bit with them. And one day somebody came in and they just landed on my table and they went, "Fix me."
Oh,
And I went, "Oh, that's the challenge." People were coming to my table asking me to fix them. And yes, I could fix a muscle that was hurting and I could tap into their bodies and have their body answer their questions, right? But it never was long lasting because they never went within. And
right.
then that traces back to my own story was when I first entered the world of becoming. I call it becoming. And that was in my middle 30s, which was yesterday. No, it was a few decades ago, right?
Right.
Um, and it was my middle 30s where I was in a place of life where I had done all the right things. I had taken all the right steps. I was doing all the things I was supposed to be doing,
Right.
and yet I was depressed. I was clinically depressed, and I was going through my own journey. And what I realized was I was making choices and decisions based on what everybody else was telling me, whether it goes back to how I was raised and what my parents expected of me, or what my classmates expected of me, or teachers expected of me, or bosses expected of me, or friends. I was the quintessential people pleaser.
Oh boy.
And in people pleasing, you forget who you are and you forget to go within and find that shining light that says, "This is me and this is why I am here," which is purpose. And this
Right.
is what I want to do in the world, which is vision. So, um, all of that kind of led me to being in a place where I could support other people in seeing, what do you want? Why are you here? What's your purpose? And what do you want? And can you stop listening to all of the outer energies that are pressing pressure on you and start listening to within, because that's where the magic of life happens.
Right. I love that. I love that. The person that just complains like fix me, just lay down. They're like fix me. I'm like, that's so true. A lot of time people are just like they've got experts in their lives, and then they have all these experts all across the board that are supposed to fix all these aspects of themselves when it's not. I mean, even if they could fix you, you can't just take everything they say and then apply it to your life because you'd go crazy. There's so many opinions out there. And so I'm like, it really does just boil down to, what do you feel is best for you? Where do you, like you were saying, the purpose, that is a massive, massive key in it. Like, if people don't know why they're here, I mean, what are they going to do? They're just going to be like a little, like, they're going to go everywhere. They're going to be a little wave that, they're not going to have direction. And, um, yeah, I really like that point a lot.
So I like to think of it as a ping pong game,
Okay.
right? So when I played ping pong as a youngster, I was not very good. And the ball would go all over the place, right? And
Right.
I'd hit it over there and you watch it bounce, and then you have to go pick it up and then you have to come back. and you have to hit it again and it goes all over the place. And when you are doing that in life, you get really tired.
Right.
You get really tired from bending over and picking up the garbage of life and trying to make it fit into this nice little table. That's the game, right?
Right. Right.
But when you start feeling how that ball is supposed to play and where it's supposed to go, and then life comes back at you, you can feel into yourself and say, yeah, that's where we're going. Or no, that's not where we're going. Right. And so you
Right.
become the expert of yourself. I fully believe in getting support and
Hmm.
getting experts to help you. So I don't want to be, I want to put that right out in the forefront because they are guides.
Right.
They help you find your North Compass. They will pick up the ping pong ball for you and put it back in your hand, right? And
Right.
give you some objectivity. But
Right.
it's still up to you to hit the ball.
Right.
And one of the things my current client was talking about just a couple of weeks ago is she said to me, she said, Laura, I'm just so tired of adulting. And I said, and I'm a kind of a sassy spiritualist because I really marry practicality with spirituality and
Hmm.
making sure that we trust our instinct, which means we have to listen to a higher cause for ourselves.
Right.
But there's practical action you have to put into play.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that's the adulting. And I said to her, I said, I love you, honey. We've been working together for a long time. But here's the honest truth is you're an adult and you're going to have to adult. And that's the hard piece because we all want that soft, safe place to land
Right.
when life hits us hard.
Right.
And that's a good friend, and that's a good counselor, and that's a good coach,
Right.
right? But we still have to take their insight and their love and their compassion and put it through your own inner GPS.
Right.
And take what really resonates and work with that along with your own guidance and leave the rest to the side and say, not right now,
Right. Right.
you know,
Right.
because we're drivers of our own car,
Right.
whatever kind of car you want, whether it's a Ferrari or a truck, right? We're drivers of that. And we can either say, go to the back seat or step out of my car because I'm either gonna let this thing, life, um, roll over me, or I'm going to let myself lead where I'm destined to go.
Right. Right. I mean, adulting's hard. And a lot of the time, like when I've worked with clients in the past, it was mostly like for marketing or for publishing, things like that, or coaching, finances, stuff like that, working with people, business owners or whatever. When they would say things like that, it usually was like this bone deep exhaustion because they weren't allowing themselves to breathe. Like they're just working so hard on what they feel they're supposed to be doing. But I'm like, part of what you're supposed to be doing is taking care of yourself. And that means slowing down, and as somebody who's always go go go, like I know that if I'm not taking care of myself, I will not indefinitely have the energy to go go go. And if I don't slow down, and like I'm a journal writer, I will sit and write every single day, and that's my moment to just, like take all my thoughts and just dump them on paper and just be like, you know what, I'm still aligned with my goal, I'm still going where I want to go. And it just gives me that moment to just refresh myself and to feel like, yeah, I can handle this again.
I can handle this thing called life. Well, high achievers, and I believe you are one, and I'm one. We are go, go, go
Right.
because there's this drive, there's this purpose, there's this
Right.
energy, this zeal, and this zest to do more, have more, be more.
Mm-hmm.
And in those moments of sacred objectivity, which journaling provides for us, meditation provides, yoga, a nice walk in the woods, they all provide that ability to say, wait a minute, is my zeal and my zest aligned, or am I going off course? Because if we go off course a little bit, we can bring ourselves back by taking
Right.
that walk in the woods, by
Right.
journaling, by using an oracle card, right? We can get realigned. But if we're going off track all of the time, we lose ourselves and we forget it. And this is what high achievers do. The
Right.
more they get off track, the more they try to do.
Right. Yep.
And then the more they get off track.
Right.
And then the more they try to do. And it's a vicious cycle of being out of alignment and energetically unclear with what it is that really, really fuels you.
Right. Do you know who
You know,
Bob
that
Proctor is?
fuel. Hmm?
Do you know who Bob Proctor is?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I love Bob Proctor. One of the things that he talked about in one of his most, like one of the series that he did right before he passed away was how he would have opportunities every single day that would offer him money and that would be fun. And he was like, he would look at them and he like, does this get me closer to where I want to go? Or is it just a fun money making opportunity? And he's like, if
Mhm.
it didn't align with his purpose, he would say no, regardless of how much money and regardless of how much fun he would have doing it. I'm like,
Yes,
because those things will drain you if they're not aligned with who you are and where you want to go.
yes. And that's the interesting thing. And I'm glad you brought that out. It's because there's fun, right? And that joyful, oh, that sounds like it would be fun, like going to a movie on Saturday night. That would be
Right,
fun. Or
right,
going to a concert. That would be fun, right?
right,
And it would fuel you up for the moment, right? Whatever that thing that feels like fun.
right,
We went to the aquarium the other day, like midwinter aquarium, like it was fun.
right,
And I went with my husband, and it was one of those things where we spent some time together, and that is fully aligned with my priority of who he is in my life. Fun.
right.
But it didn't get me where I was supposed to go because I played hooky to do it, you know? And that goes to kind of cabin fever and winter and fear over faith and things like that.
Right,
Um, so yes, you can do fun things that are short term that allow a little bright light in a priority of yours.
right,
But I'd love to go walk the Cameo Trail in Spain. I'd love to go. There's a go do a girls' weekend for maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Just me and the
right,
girls, right? That sounds like it'd be really fun. But one of my priorities this year is to speak more and get my message out more.
right,
And that would delay going and doing those fun things would delay things like having the opportunity to share space and time with you and your audience,
right.
right? And so I focus in on what that priority is. Like you have to look at priorities as the word.
Hmm.
What's prior in your life that's important that you're bringing into this moment?
Right. I love
Right?
that.
Because if it's a priority, then it's important in this moment.
Right,
But if it's just this dangling fun thing, does it align with your priorities so that you can go for it? Because money and fun can lead us astray.
yeah.
Um, one of the things that I I hesitate. This is being launched in 2026. It's a geopolitical climate that is challenging
Yeah,
and difficult, regardless of where you are on the spectrum.
right,
Regardless of where you are, you can be to the right, you can be to the left, you can be dead center. It is challenging,
right,
right? And it's important as adults to be aware of that.
yeah,
But the challenge is making sure that you come back into your own purpose and stay in your own lane of what your priorities are and your goals so that fear doesn't outgrow faith,
right, right,
right? Because when you look at this inner guidance, um the thing that gets the loudest that shuts it down is fear,
right,
right? Fear of the past coming back to haunt you, fear of traumas, tribulations, tensions that have guided your decision making process
right,
coming back. So that's a fear. And so you're not in this moment, or fear of the future, right? What's going to happen to the world? What's going to happen in the chaos? What's going to happen to my community, my home, my family, right?
right,
And that's fear of the future. And the thing about trusting your intuition is you have to be present.
right. Yep.
You have to be in this moment to make that sharp choice to listen to your intuition, because your gut instincts, which is your intuition, that inner wisdom, speak to us all the time. But the more fear you have, the quieter it gets.
Right.
It's like this, it comes with you, but it's very quiet.
Right.
It's very quiet. And in order to listen to the quiet best friend on your shoulder, you have to sit quietly and be in this moment.
Right.
And when you can, that wisdom comes shining through. That's when we get those, you can call them ahas, you can call them downloads. If you're a woman of a certain age, I call them, I should have had my V8 moments, right? Those V8 moments of, oh my gosh, that's the answer. Why
Mm.
didn't I know it yesterday or 8 weeks ago or 10 years ago? Well, the reason was it wasn't ready to be heard. And that's okay.
Right.
It's okay to be in this moment because that's exactly where you're supposed to be.
Right.
And that's when you can hear this beautiful voice. And it's not always a voice. There are all the clairs. There's the clairvoyant, and you can see, you can hear, you can feel. All of the clairs are your intuition. And some people's clairs are more loud in one aspect of themselves than in another.
Right.
So I have a voice. I hear a voice. For me, I know it's my intuition because it's kind, it's loving, and it says everything's going to be okay with the guidance that comes in. I know it's my ego voice when it says you should have did this, you should have done that, you're no good, you're all of the things that our egos teach us. It talks to us in ways that our teachers, most of them, used to teach to get us standing in line quietly to
Right.
walk in concert with the entire class, right?
Right.
Um, and it's the shoulda, woulda, couldas, and you're not good enough. And whoever is going to listen to you, no one wants to listen to you, right? All of those negative voices is ego. So
Yeah.
I've learned to train my brain to listen quietly to which voice is talking to me. And some people will say, well, which tap? Some people will get taps and they'll
Mm.
get a loving tap in a certain place, like, hello, that's your intuition. And other people, and then the same person's gonna get a sharp stabbing pain, which is the ego trying to keep us down.
Right.
And that's what I want women, especially of a certain age, the women who has gone through all of the 20s and the 30s and into that middle. I hate midlife, the word midlife.
Right.
I hate it. The next journey time, the
Right.
next journey, somebody who's in the next journey. I want them to know that they are light, they are love, right?
Right.
We just have to need to access that.
Right. Right. I love that. And for those who are new to the show, on this podcast, I do solo episodes, I do guest episodes, and through all of them, I try to focus on mindsets and beliefs and how they impact our actions. And basically, I like to challenge them and try to get people to rethink the things that they're thinking so that they can alter their actions, which will then lead to real success in all your areas of life. And okay, so Laura, so if somebody believes that basically that success comes only from outside advice or external validation, how does that belief affect the decisions that they make in their careers and their businesses and their personal lives?
Oh my gosh. It it disempowers their self-leadership,
Hmm.
right? It makes them stop trusting themselves
Right.
because they're doing it for somebody else. They're the people pleaser, as I was talking about earlier. They're not doing it for the right reasons that they believe in. So, we have our values, and I have a belief that our values are consistent from the time we are choosing to come down here in this human form, that our values are set in place. Our beliefs can change over time because our beliefs are based on our experiences. Right?
Right.
And we can make that belief whatever we want it to believe. They are our stories. So we can tell ourselves that we have to make that choice because if we don't make that choice, we're going to lose our job. Or I have to make that choice because if I don't make that choice, my child will be in peril, right?
Right. Right.
But they're not sitting into that space of what's my belief? How did my belief around this get here?
Right.
Right? And is it fear-based or faith-based? And when I say faith, I don't necessarily mean religious or
Religion.
spiritual, but
Right.
faith in yourself and
Right.
confidence and courage, and the ability to say, say, oh, I made that choice before and that was a mistake. And yet I've learned this, and this, and here I am now. And the choice can either be the same thing or something different based on your timing of where you are,
Right.
right? Because I don't know about you. I don't know about you. Are you a recovery perfectionist?
Um, I don't know. Like I've got OCD, but it's mostly under control. I'm not super I don't know. Like I'm a perfectionist about some stuff, but I'm not detail oriented. I'm truly just the go, go, go. And I don't care if I don't do it perfectly. I just want it done. And I do it as
Nice.
best as I can at the moment, knowing that my best will be different later. And I have a lot of grace for myself because I'm like, nope, this is the best I could do right now. I'm just going to do it. And then I go on to the next thing. And then I look back a year later. I'm like, see how much I've grown?
Great. And the best in the moment, that's in the being in the moment, right?
Right.
So I am a recovering perfectionist. I never made a mistake until like an hour ago. But honestly, I've learned over time that I've made a lot of mistakes, but they're mistakes.
Okay.
I can create, re-navigate that choice
Right.
in a more productive way.
Right.
And the second that I started saying, I strive for excellence,
Right.
which means sometimes I'm going to miss the mark and I'm going to make a mistake. It takes all of that self-pressure off of you,
Right.
right? To do more, be more, and become more around everybody else's beliefs of
Right.
who you are and
Right.
not your own. So
Right.
once you can embrace your own imperfect perfection, because I do believe that the human experience is perfect in all of its aspects,
Mm-hmm.
but the imperfect way that that unfolds, when you can embrace that, you stand up stronger. You find a little bit more of that inner wisdom that allows you to have the spine to
Right.
speak confidently, objectively, and state your case for a choice. And then lay the cards out. If you're in corporate and you've made a decision and they don't like it, I always say, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the absolute worst thing that can happen? Right? And go down the rabbit's hole with that story for
Right.
yourself.
Right.
I can lose my job, which means I'll lose my house, which means I'm going to become homeless, which means I'm going to be begging for food, which means I might not find food, which means I might end up, if you're in New England, where it's been a cold winter,
Right.
frozen to death, right? Is that really going to happen?
No.
Because of that one choice that you
Right.
stood up for. Corporate is probably going to say, well, you made a mistake, fix it. Or they're going to say, well, we're going to reverse that and do something else, and you learn from it. And so then you say, okay, what's the story I can tell myself about that experience that allows that fear, instead of becoming false evidence appearing real, which is what most people describe fear as.
Right.
I say it's forever evading your abundant rewards,
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna write
right?
that down.
Forever evading abundant rewards. And then then I say to myself, well, Laura, if you want that abundant reward, you can't let this fear override, evade it. You have to greet it and shift it in order to step forward courageously.
Right.
And it's not, it's, I, one of the, one of my friends said to me once, when did you start doing this, kind of personal awakening coaching? And I said, in college.
Mm,
And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, I've been practicing since I was a resident assistant because I would just look at somebody, one of my uh, uh, dorm girls, women, and I would say to them, I'd say, is this really what you want to choose? Do you really, whether it was drink more, go out with the wrong guy, or skip a class, or whatever women of that age do to
right.
make their life more complicated instead of less complicated. Um, and I say that lovingly because I know I was one of them, and I know our brains are not fully formed till we're 25. So
Right.
I say it lovingly about that age group. Um, and I would just say, is that really what you want?
Right.
And they would say, well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I said, no, no, no. Listen for a second, close your eyes. And is that really what you want to do? And they would pause and they would come up, they would pause and get that inner knowing. And that's the thing about wherever you are in life's journey and wherever you're transitioning or moving forward to or making choices for your better best self, it's is that what you really want?
Right.
Right? And that's the hardest question to answer for ourselves.
Right.
We're loving, nurturing women. We love to give. We give, right? But we have to, as you were saying, especially about your podcast, and we have to fill our cups up, and we can't make choices from the same place we were yesterday and expect them to be improved if we're basing them on yesterday's experience.
Right. Right.
Right? We have to move into the space we are now in order to move into the better space. And that's a mindset shift or an awakening shift. Um, and adulting it can be really hard.
Right.
But one of the things I like to share with a lot of people is what if it was just play? What if adulting is so I use a lot of acronyms if you haven't told, but play, perfectly legitimate activity for the young,
Mm,
right? Play, perfectly legitimate activity for the young, because we're so bound set on giving structure to
right.
kids and adults. I took a painting class a year ago, and she was telling me, no, you have to paint like this, and I'm like, I'm not in kindergarten anymore. I want to paint like this, so I'm taking well, I'm gonna paint like this because I'm paying for this class now.
Right.
Right. And so I'm young. Everybody is young at heart. So what if adulting is playing? What if it's just allowing ourselves to be creative? You said you journal a lot, right?
Mhm.
But I also kind of get a sense that you're creative in other aspects, like whether you paint or build. Is that true?
Yeah, I like to build things. I built our bookshelves in our living room. It's like a 18 or 9 foot wall that's 18 feet wide, 20 feet wide. And I built our chicken coop. It's one of those big ones. And I
Oh
painted a
wow.
lot of these paintings back here.
Yeah, I had a feeling they were your vibe. Yeah,
Yeah, and then yeah, and I've got over 85 books published. So
yeah.
I like to
And that
create, yes.
and that's creativity, right?
Right, right.
That creativity and playing is going within, right? And
Right.
coming out and making something beautiful, whether it's a book or a painting. And that's part of who you are,
Right,
right?
right.
And that's who you're meant to be. And in that creativity, whether you're baking or building, you really go deep into that quiet zone. And for me, after I journal, right, and I close my journal with a recitation every time that I use it. And I say the same thing. And when I close it and I go, that's when the biggest download comes because
Right.
I've quieted myself to a place where I can get it and go, there's my V8. Let's go have some
Right.
fun.
Right. Right. So if someone listening today feels stuck or uncertain about like their direction in life or their business, what is a mindset shift that you would recommend that they could make right now that would basically help them start trusting themselves and moving forward with clarity?
Yeah. So my absolute favorite prompt in the world is what is great about this that I am not seeing?
Hmm.
Because that's going to shift your mind.
Right. Right.
It's going to, what is great about this? We had a blizzard here. We had 38 inches of snow. We
Right.
live at the end of a 1,000-foot driveway in the woods.
Hmm.
We didn't have a plow guy, you know. Um, and I woke up and I'm like, well, what's great about this that I'm not seeing? Oh, we have a generator. We have a
Right.
generator. We've got plenty of food because we prepared for this.
Right.
Um, I still have my internet, so I do have to adult a little bit. You know, or I could just go pull the plug and enjoy a day. But what is great about this that I am not seeing? And I was able to step out on the back deck in 3 feet of snow and just look at the world in
Mm.
a different light, like the purity of snow, the
Right. Right.
purity and freshness of snow, right? And then I posted this great video because you shovel for a week and you get tired of it, and it's still 38 inches, and I'm sitting there and I finished and I'm like, I'm done with shoveling and I'm done with winter. I'm just done. And I fell back full Monty backwards into the snow.
Oh, fun.
I was so much fun, right? And then I couldn't get up. I literally I couldn't roll because there was
The
so much snow
snow.
on either
Right.
side of me. My abdominal muscles weren't strong enough to get me up. And my husband is filming me. And I said to him, I said, I've fallen and I can't get up. He goes, I'm just the cameraman.
Good for him.
And I said, well, put the camera down and come help your wife. And then I put my legs up in the air and I was kicking in the air, and it just looking at that video of a 60 some odd woman just enjoying herself
Right.
and getting full pleasure out of a really challenging 4 or 5 days, because
Right.
you get stuck and that is a challenge.
Right.
What is great about this? Oh my God, I am going to carry that experience, that backward fall and not being able to get up and being able to laugh with my husband through when they say, oh, wasn't that really a hard blizzard? Wasn't that really challenging? Because it was for some people. They were out
Right.
of power. But what is great about it that you are not seeing?
Right.
And that just it puts you into out of the box thinking, and
Right.
then get your creative juices going. So that is the most powerful mindset shift I can share.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you again for coming on to the podcast with me. I
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you for having me. It's a joy talking to you. You are a bundle of fun and laughter yourself. I can see it in your eyes and your smile.
I love I like talking to people a lot, and I like meeting new people quite a bit. But yeah, so for those who are listening, Lara Clark is her name, Lara Croft. You're a video game star.
I
Just kidding.
am.
So if this conversation resonated with you, you can find Laura's work linked below, and I've got her bio down there. And if you want more conversations like this, make sure that you are subscribed. And thank you so much, everyone. I will talk to you all later. Bye.